Jai Prabhuji, do you want to read today's verse?
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Sparshan krutva brahmibha yashvashushvetnvantare bhruvoho pranapano samo krutva nasa bhayantara charino yatendriyamano buddhir munir moksha prayanaha vigate chaya bhaya kradho yaha saha mukta evasaha. Shutting out,
Translate.
yeah. Translation: shutting out all external sense objects, keeping in the eyes and the vision concentrated between two eyebrows, suspending in inward and outward breaths within the nostrils, and thus controlling the mind, senses, and intelligence. The transcendentalist aiming at liberation becomes free from the desire, fear, anger. One who is always in the state in certainly liberated.
Should I say it in French now?
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Fermé aux objets des sens, fixant son regard entre les sourcils et immobilisant dans ses narines les airs ascendants et descendants, le spiritualiste en quête de la libération qui a ainsi maîtrisé les sens, le mental et l'intelligence s'affranchit du désir, de la colère et de la peur, qui demeure en cet état est certes libéré.
Purport: being engaged in Krishna consciousness, one can immediately understand one's spiritual identity, and then one can understand the Supreme Lord by means of devotional service.
Go ahead.
Yes,
Go ahead.
when one is well situated in devotional service, one comes to transcendental position, qualified to feel the presence of the Lord in sphere of one's activity. This particular position is called liberation in Supreme.
Go ahead.
After explaining the above principles of liberation in the Supreme God, the Lord gives instruction to Arjuna as how one can come to the position by the practice of mysticism or yoga known as Asthana Yoga, divisible into an eightfold procedure called Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, uh, Pratyagraha, Dharana, Dhyana, and Samadhi. In the sixth chapter of subject of yoga explicitly detailed, and at the end of the fifth chapter and end of the fifth, it is only preliminary explained. One has drive out senses objects as such as sound, touch, form, taste, and smell by the by the pratyachara process in yoga, and then keep the vision of the eyes between two eyebrows and concentrate on the tip of the nose with half closed lids. There is no benefit in closing the eyes altogether because then there is very chance of falling asleep, nor there is benefit in the opening eyes completely, because then there is the hazard of being attracted by sense objects. The breathing movement is restrained within the nostrils by neutralizing the up moving and the down moving air within the body. By practice of such yoga, one is able to gain control over the senses, refrain from outward sense objects, and thus prepare oneself liberation in the Supreme. The yoga process helps one become free of all kinds of fear and anger, thus feel the presence of the Supersoul in the transcendental situation. In other words, Krishna consciousness is the easier procedure of executing yoga principles.
Vaishnavi.
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
This will be throughoutly explained in the next chapter. A Krishna conscious person, however, being always engaged in devotional service, does not risk losing his senses to some other engagement. This is the better way of controlling the senses by Asjana Yoga. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Okay, but we will just speak, Prabhu. Michael?
Okay.
All right, so as Prabhupada says in the purport, this is a preliminary introduction to the subject, which is in more detail in the next chapter.
Comme Prabhupada l'explique dans l'explication, ceci est juste un préliminaire pour le chapitre prochain.
Describing the process of Ashtanga Yoga.
Ça décrit le procédé de l'Ashtanga Yoga.
Asta means 8 and Anga means limbs. So 8 limbs or 8 steps in the yoga practice.
Ashtan veut dire 8 et Anga veut dire les membres du corps.
So here in this 2 verses which were given today, they were not beginning from the first step. They were just simply talking about the pranayama, controlling the breathing.
Donc, dans les débuts, on ne commençait pas tout au début de ce procédé yoga. On parlait juste du pranayama, la respiration coordonnée.
So this is a mechanical process for controlling the mind.
C'est un procédé mécanique pour contrôler l'esprit par la respiration, etc.
Many yogis do this pranayama. It's very powerful effect. People can live, they can prolong their life. They can live longer by doing pranayama.
Il y a des yogis qui, en pratiquant ce pranayama, arrivent à vivre des vies plus rallongées.
They slow down the breathing.
Ils ralentissent leur respiration.
Of course, the purpose is actually that they will become detached. They will give up their attachment to the material things around them, and they will concentrate on the Lord within the heart.
En réalité, le but, c'est de se détacher des choses autour de nous, des objets des sens, et de s'attacher au Seigneur qui est dans le cœur.
In material life, people are very attached to the things around them. We're looking, we see, oh, there's a good-looking woman. Oh, she looks nice. And we become attracted to the opposite sex. So the mind is drawn away from spiritual practice because of the attraction to the material world.
Dans la vie matérielle, les sens sont attirés par les objets externes, tels une belle femme, et à ce moment-là, l'être oublie son devoir éternel d'être attiré plutôt par le Seigneur interne.
So there was a story about the great yogi, Durvasa Muni. He was a yogi and he was away in the Himalayas and he was doing this pranayama yoga.
Il y a l'histoire du yogi Durvasa qui était parti dans les Himalayas pour pratiquer ce pranayama, ce yoga.
And he was sitting in the Himalayas. He thought he was safe away from everyone.
Et donc, il était dans les Himalayas. Il se croyait très loin de tout le monde.
But he was becoming very powerful. He was becoming so powerful that the demigod in heaven, the king of the demigods, Indra, he sent a beautiful woman there to distract him.
Et donc, il était devenu tellement puissant par son yoga que le dieu Indra envoya une femme pour le distraire.
So although he was away in the Himalayas and he was sitting meditating, he happened to hear the sound of ornaments, the jingle of the sound of ornaments. And he looked up and he saw there was this very beautiful woman.
Malgré le fait qu'il pratiquait le yoga et qu'il était assis en tailleur à méditer dans l'Himalaya, il entendait les clochettes d'une femme qui allait passer devant lui.
So he became distracted from his yoga practice and he became absorbed in this woman.
Donc, il est devenu déconcentré de sa pratique de yoga et il s'est absorbé dans la pensée de cette belle femme.
But then after some time, then he realized it was a trap, that he'd been tricked, that the demigods had sent this woman there just to deviate him from his yoga practice.
Après un peu de temps, il se rendit compte que c'était c'était un piège. Et c'était les demi-dieux qui ont envoyé cette femme pour le déconcentrer de sa pratique de yoga.
They didn't want him to become powerful, so they sent the woman there to deviate him.
Ils avaient peur qu'il devienne puissant par son yoga et ils ont donc mis ensemble ce piège.
This yogi, he was originally he was a Kshatriya, but then he saw that the Brahmanas were more powerful than the Kshatriya, so he decided he wanted to become a Brahmana.
Ce yogi Durvasa, originellement, était un kshatriya, un guerrier. Mais il vit que les brahmanas étaient encore plus puissants que les kshatriyas, alors il voulut être très puissant et il est devenu un yogi, brahmana.
So he did a lot of austerity and a lot of meditation and practice, and gradually became a Brahmana. Then he wanted to become a Brahmana rishi among the Brahmanas, a great sage among the Brahmanas.
Donc, pour devenir un brahmana, il a fait beaucoup de méditation et de yoga, etc. Il est devenu un brahmana et ensuite il voulait encore plus devenir un brahma rishi, un sage d'entre les brahmanas.
But the demigods didn't like him to become too powerful.
Mais les demi-dieux ne voulaient pas qu'il soit comme ça, ils étaient un petit peu jaloux.
So they sent the woman there, and he got deviated, and his yoga practice was forgotten for some time.
Alors ils ont envoyé cette femme, comme d'habitude, pour dévier sa pratique, et il s'est dévié de sa pratique pendant quelque temps.
Then he realized that he'd been tricked, that the demigods had sent this woman there, and he'd forgot all about his yoga practice. So he understood he had to just leave that woman, just went away, and it began again his yoga meditation.
Après du temps, il s'est rendu compte que cette femme était un leurre et qu'il avait été piégé. Alors, après avoir perdu son chemin quelque temps, il a recommencé sa pratique.
And so yoga is like that. This Ashtanga yoga is like that. You can easily become attracted to the material world and go back, try to enjoy more.
Le yoga Ashtanga, en fait, c'est comme ça qu'on peut facilement perdre son chemin et revenir attiré par le monde matériel.
But finally, he got perfection and he became a great sage.
Finalement, il a atteint la perfection. Il est devenu un grand sage.
But Haridas Thakur was a bhakti yogi. He was just taking shelter of the holy name. He would sit and chant all day.
Par contre, Haridas Thakur était un bhakta yogi. Il prenait seulement refuge au saint nom, dans les saints noms du Seigneur. Et il chantait beaucoup toute la journée.
Haridas Thakur was born in a Muslim family, but he became a great devotee of Krishna.
Haridas Thakur était né dans une famille musulmane, mais il a pris refuge pareil au lotus du Seigneur, Krishna.
And he would chant the holy name. He would chant every day. He would chant every day 192 rounds.
Il chanta 192 tours de mantra japa tous les jours.
Usually people, they try to chant 100,000 names. 100,000 names means 64 rounds.
Des fois, des personnes essayent de chanter 64 tours, 100 000 noms.
So to chant 64 rounds, it will take about 8 hours to do it.
Pour chanter 64 tours, ça prend environ 8 heures.
Just to chant 16 rounds, it takes at least 2 hours.
Juste pour chanter 16 tours, ça prend environ au moins 2 heures.
So to chant 64 rounds, you have to take about 8 hours.
Donc, pour 64, ça prend environ 8 heures. And that's 10,000. 100,000.
100,000 names.
Ça fait 100 000 déjà pour 8 heures.
But Haridas Thakur was chanting 300,000 names every day, which is 192 rounds.
Par contre, Haridas Thakur chantait 300 000 noms par jour. Ça fait 92 tours.
So it would take practically the whole day. He didn't have any time to eat or sleep.
Donc, en fait, ça prenait plus ou moins toute la journée, sans laisser de temps pour manger ou dormir, vraiment.
He was really a great yogi.
C'était un immense yogi.
So he became very popular, and some people were envious of him. So they planned to try to disgrace him.
Donc, il est devenu assez populaire et il y avait des gens qui étaient jaloux de lui et qui ont essayé d'enlever sa fortune.
So they arranged that there was this one prostitute, and they told this prostitute that she should go to the home of Haridas Thakur at night, and she should seduce him. In other words, she should have sex with him, and then they could come and arrest Haridas Thakur.
Ils ont essayé d'enlever sa renommée et sa gloire en envoyant une femme chez lui qui était en fait une prostituée. Ils voulaient qu'ils ont instruit à la femme d'essayer de faire l'amour avec lui pour qu'il se fasse arrêter en tant que fraude.
So she went there in the night, and Haridas Thakur told her, he said, oh, you have to wait. I have not finished my chanting. When I finish my chanting, then I will enjoy with you.
Donc, quand la dame est arrivée aux alentours de la maison de Haridas Thakur, Haridas lui dit que « Attendez, s'il vous plaît, je n'ai pas encore fini mon mantra. Veuillez attendre et ensuite on pourra passer du temps ensemble. »
So Haridas Thakur was chanting, and the whole night passed, and the prostitute was waiting the whole night. And then it came to morning, and the sun came up, and then Haridas Thakur said, oh, I'm sorry, I've only just finished my chanting now. He told her, you can come back tonight, and tonight I will enjoy with you.
Donc, Haridas Thakur ne finit son mantra que le lendemain matin. Il chanta toute la nuit. Et donc, la prostituée qui était venue pour l'attraper était très fatiguée. Et il dit à la prostituée qu'elle pourrait revenir le soir même.
So Haridas Thakur was chanting all day, and then in the night the prostitute came, and Haridas told her, hey, just wait, when I finish my rounds, I will enjoy with you.
Et donc, Haridas chanta toute cette journée. Et ensuite, quand la prostituée arriva le soir, il lui dit que attendez juste encore un petit moment. Quand je finirai mon chant, on pourra s'amuser.
And Haridas chanted all night, and the prostitute waited, and she was hearing Haridas chant the whole night.
Et donc, Haridas Thakur chanta de nouveau toute la nuit, et la prostituée attenda à nouveau toute la nuit.
So then, in the morning, he chanted all night, and then the sun came up in the morning, and he told her, "Oh, I'm sorry, I could not finish my chanting in time."
Et donc, il continua à chanter toute la nuit à nouveau. Et quand le soleil se leva, il dit « Désolé, mais vraiment, je n'arrivais pas à terminer mon mantra plus tôt. »
And so then the prostitute said to Haridas, she said that I want to chant now. I want to do the chanting. So Haridas told her, he said, then you go home and you give away everything, and then you come back here and you come and sit here and chant.
Et donc, la prostituée, à ce moment-là, le matin, elle dit « Maintenant, j'aimerais aussi chanter comme toi, j'aimerais être comme vous. » Et donc, Haridas lui dit « D'abord, rentrez chez vous, abandonnez toutes vos choses, donnez toutes vos choses, et ensuite vous pouvez revenir ici pour chanter comme moi à mes côtés.
So Haridas Thakur waited, and the woman, she went home and she gave away everything, all of her possessions, and then she came there to Haridas's place, and Haridas Thakur gave her beads and told her, you sit here and chant, and then Haridas left that place.
Donc, la femme est rentrée chez elle, elle a donné toutes ses possessions, et ensuite, elle est revenue, et Haridas lui donna un mala pour chanter, des perles, et lui-même, il abandonna sa maison, et elle resta là, elle chanta.
So she became a great devotee. She sat there and chanted for the rest of her life.
Elle devint une grande dévote, elle resta là, tandis que Haridas avait déménagé, et elle chanta pour le reste de sa vie. Elle était une grande dévote du Seigneur.
So Haridas Thakur showed how he could make even a prostitute into a devotee.
Donc, Haridas Thakur montra comment une prostituée même peut devenir une grande dévote.
And Haridas, he just went away and found another place to go and sit and chant.
Donc, Haridasa, lui, il quitta les lieux et il passa le reste de ses jours à chanter dans un autre endroit.
So we see that the process of chanting Hare Krishna is more powerful than this process of Ashtanga Yoga.
Nous voyons là que le procédé de chanter les saints noms du Seigneur est beaucoup plus puissant que le Ashtanga Yoga.
If you do pranayama, you control the breathing, it won't take away your material desires.
Si vous pratiquez le pranayama, la respiration contrôlée et toutes ces choses, cela n'enlèvera pas vos désirs matériels.
But if we chant Hare Krishna with proper care and with love and devotion, then our material desires will all be forgotten.
Par contre, si vous chantez les saints noms Hare Krishna, vous oublierez tous vos désirs matériels.
So the process of bhakti yoga is on the top of all the yoga systems. It's the most powerful, the most perfect of all yoga practices.
Donc, la pratique du yoga, c'est la plus haute pratique du spirituel.
But here we see Lord Krishna is describing different stages of the yoga ladder.
Ici, Krishna est en train de décrire différentes étapes sur l'échelle du yoga.
So he's already described the bottom of the yoga ladder. The bottom of the yoga ladder was to do karma yoga, yoga of action.
Donc là, il a déjà décrit des échelons plus bas, tels le karma yoga, le yoga de l'action non attachée.
And then there was jnana yoga, the yoga of knowledge.
Ensuite, il y avait le jnana yoga, le yoga du savoir.
Now this dhyana yoga or ashtanga yoga. This is the yoga of meditation.
Maintenant, le dhyana yoga, c'est le yoga de la méditation.
But if you're going to practice pranayama, before you do pranayama, you first have to do the other things, because pranayama is the fourth step of the yoga.
Par contre, le pranayama, c'est le quatrième étape, la quatrième étape dans le yoga. Et donc, vous devez d'abord faire les trois autres étapes avant d'accéder au pranayama.
The first step is called yama, and the second step is niyama.
D'abord, il y a le yama, ensuite le niyama.
So yama are the things which you should stop doing.
Yama sont les choses à arrêter de faire, en fait.
It means you should stop eating meat, fish, and eggs. You should stop gambling. You should stop intoxication, and you should stop illicit sex.
Cela veut dire, le yama, qu'il faut arrêter les jeux du pari, le sexe illicite, l'intoxication, etc.
A niyama is the things you should do, the things you have to take up.
Et donc, le niyama, c'est les choses à pratiquer, les choses à faire.
You have to become clean, both internally and externally.
Par exemple, il faut devenir très propre à l'interne et à l'externe.
And we have to accept also a little austerity. We should not, we have to accept some austerities, things like waking up early in the morning.
Il faut aussi accepter certaines austérités, telles que se réveiller tôt le matin.
We have to practice daily chanting of the holy names.
Les chants quotidiens des saints noms du Seigneur aussi.
And we have to worship Krishna every day.
Il faut aussi vénérer Krishna quotidiennement.
And we should read the books about Krishna.
Et lire les livres à propos de Krishna.
We should bow down every day to Krishna.
Il faut montrer ses respects à Krishna tous les jours en se prosternant devant lui.
All of these different items, these are the rules and regulations. The same rules and regulations are also there in Krishna consciousness. The same ones are there in Ashtanga Yoga.
En fait, les règles qui sont là dans la conscience de Krishna sont aussi là dans le Ashtanga Yoga.
In the Ashtanga Yoga, you have to practice strict celibacy. Even if you're married, you cannot stay with your wife. You have to separate from your wife.
En réalité, dans le Ashtanga Yoga, vous devez pratiquer le célibat très strict. Si vous êtes marié, par exemple, vous devez quitter votre femme.
So, but the same principles are there to control the mind and the senses.
Donc, les mêmes principes sont là dans le Ashtanga Yoga, etc., pour contrôler l'esprit et les sens matériels.
And then the third thing you have to do is asana. You have to do the yoga exercises.
Une troisième chose à faire, c'est aussi les asanas, les exercices de yoga.
That means you have to make your body flexible so that you can sit for a long time without moving.
Cela veut dire qu'il faut rendre le corps très flexible pour pouvoir s'asseoir durant des longs moments sans bouger.
Of course, nowadays people sit in chairs, but actually the yogi, he will sit on the floor.
En fait, de nos jours, les gens s'asseyent sur des chaises, mais en fait, le yogi doit s'asseoir par terre.
He won't sit up, he will sit down. He may sit on a deer skin, but he will sit down on the ground.
Il ne va pas s'installer vraiment bien, il sera plutôt assis par terre, sur le sol.
And he will do different exercises to make the body very flexible.
Il va donc pratiquer différents exercices pour rendre le corps très flexible.
The body should be flexible so that he can sit for a long time without moving.
Le corps doit être flexible pour pouvoir s'asseoir durant des très longs moments sans bouger.
And so asana is popular. People like to do asana. They think asanas are meant so they can lose weight.
Donc, les personnes maintenant trouvent les asanas, les exercices de yoga très propices pour perdre du poids.
But the purpose of asana is not simply to lose weight.
En fait, le but des asanas, ce n'est pas de perdre du poids du tout.
And the purpose of asana is not just for health. It's not just to cure some physical problem.
Ces exercices de yoga ne sont pas du tout faits pour améliorer la santé, ni pour enlever des problèmes matériels.
No, it's meant to help us to be able to fix our mind on the Supreme Lord, Krishna.
On pratique ces choses pour nous aider à fixer notre esprit sur le Seigneur suprême, Krishna, Dieu.
So after asana, then you start to do a pranayama. Pranayama, Prabhupada would talk, he said pranayama is like nose pressing yoga. You have to press the nose. You press the left side of the nose, then you press the right side of the nose. So Prabhupada called pranayama the nose pressing yoga.
Après les exercices physiques, il y a le pranayama. C'est les exercices de respiration. Et notre maître spirituel, Srila Prabhupada, appelait ça le yoga de s'appuyer sur le nez.
And the yogi has to sit very straight. And Prabhupada said, yogi cannot close his eyes, because if he closes his eyes, he will go to sleep.
Prabhupada expliqua que les yogis doivent s'asseoir très droit. Et il dit aussi que le yogi ne doit pas fermer les yeux complètement, sinon il s'endormira.
We often see whenever we speak, whenever we start to speak on the Bhagavad Gita, we see people close their eyes and they go to sleep.
Des fois, quand nous parlons à propos de la Bhagavad Gita dans des classes, nous voyons que les gens commencent à fermer les yeux et donc s'endorment.
Before we begin the class, we will often say the mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Avant d'entreprendre la classe, parfois nous disons le mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
So some people, as soon as they hear that mantra, they think, oh, class. And immediately their eyes close and they go to sleep.
Souvent, quand les gens entendent ce mantra, ils se disent, cela veut dire qu'il y a une classe qui commence. Et donc, ils ferment les yeux et ils s'endorment.
But when we say the mantra, there's a mantra which we say before we take prasadam, we say Sharira Vijajao. And when we say that mantra, then immediately everybody's eyes open and they're very awake.
Par contre, quand on prononce le mantra que c'est l'heure de la nourriture, Sharira Vijajal, les gens se réveillent tout de suite, comme par magie.
So one mantra is the go to sleep mantra. And that's the one for class.
Donc, il y a le mantra pour s'endormir, le mantra de la classe, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, dormir.
And the other mantra, the prasadam mantra, that's the wake up mantra.
Et donc, le mantra du prasadam, Mahaprasade Govinde, on se réveille par magie aussi.
So conditioned souls, we're not very great yogis. We're very attached to the tongue. We like prasadam. So that's good.
Donc, les âmes conditionnées sont très mauvais yogis. Ils ne pensent qu'à leurs envies matérielles.
But we should like to hear also. We should like to hear the scriptures. We shouldn't go to sleep when class is going on. We should hear carefully.
Il faut être attiré par les écrits. Il ne faut pas partir en rêve quand il faut entendre cette information.
Okay, are there any questions?
Yes, Guru Maharaj, I have a question. Guru Maharaj, is there any benefit to yoga? I tried it, but it didn't seem to do much good.
La question, est-ce qu'il y a quelque soit peu de bénéfices au yoga? Elle a essayé le yoga, mais ça ne l'a pas aidé.
That's okay. You do bhakti yoga. Everything is, all the benefits are there in bhakti yoga. Just chant Hare Krishna.
Ça va. Il faut pratiquer le bhakti yoga et là, tous les bénéfices viendront.
Bhakti yoga is at the top of the yoga ladder. So all the other yoga systems are included in Bhakti yoga.
Le yoga bhakti est tout en haut de l'échelle des yogas. Et donc, tous les autres bénéfices en font partie.
Remember, the goal of yoga is to remember Krishna. So if you're
Rappelez-vous,
remembering Krishna, then you're the best yogi.
rappelez-vous que le but du yoga, c'est de se rappeler de Krishna, c'est de se mémorer Krishna. Et donc, si vous vous rappelez de Krishna, de la personne, vous pratiquez le meilleur des yogas.
So we don't worry about the other yoga processes. You're already at the top of the yoga ladder.
On ne s'inquiète donc pas des autres procédés de yoga. Vous êtes déjà tout en haut de l'échelle du yoga avec le bhakti.
If you go up the stairs, walk up the stairs to get to the top of the building, it takes a long time to go up.
Si vous montez un escalier pour arriver tout en haut d'un bâtiment, ça peut prendre très longtemps pour arriver tout en haut.
But if you take the lift, it's very quick.
Par contre, si vous prenez l'ascenseur, ça va beaucoup plus vite.
So Bhakti yoga is like the lift. You take the lift up to the top of the building.
Donc, le bhakti yoga, c'est un ascenseur pour arriver tout en haut.
Okay.
Yes, Guru Maharaj, thank you very much.
Guru Maharaj, I wanted to know what is the drawback in this Ashtanga Yoga, because in Niyama there is also chanting of the holy name.
No, not usually.
Okay. Guru Maharaj.
And if they do chant the holy name, they won't chant much. They may chant a little bit, but they don't chant for very long. And their purpose in chanting is not for the pleasure of Krishna. So they don't chant with devotion.
La question est que parfois dans le yoga, il y a le chant du Saint-Nom qui en fait partie dans les yogas actuels. Mais en réalité, quand les gens chantent les Saint-Noms du Seigneur dans ces yogas, ils ne le font pas à une aussi grande échelle et ce n'est pas pour glorifier le Seigneur.
They are chanting the holy name maybe only 2 or 3 times. And their purpose in chanting is maybe to create auspiciousness.
Ils chantent peut-être les noms du Seigneur 2 ou 3 fois, juste pour créer une atmosphère propice à la méditation et au yoga.
They may be chanting for their own, maybe for their own purification.
Peut-être ils chantent pour leur propre purification et pour accéder à des autres niveaux méditatifs.
But they're not chanting with pure devotion.
Mais ils ne chantent pas avec une pure dévotion au Seigneur Shri Krishna.
Of course, it's good they're chanting, yes, we encourage, but they should chant more.
Bien sûr, c'est très bien quand ils chantent les saints noms du Seigneur, même dans les pratiques de yoga, mais ils devraient chanter plus.
And they may consider the chanting of the holy name. They may consider, well, there are many gods, or this is just one name of God. There are many other names of gods and many other gods. And they may be Mayavadis. You don't know. Many Mayavadis, they also chant Hare Krishna.
Peut-être quand ils chantent certains noms du Seigneur, ils pensent que Krishna n'est qu'un des dieux parmi d'autres. Donc, il y a beaucoup aussi des Mayavadis, des impersonnalistes qui chantent les noms du Seigneur.
So it's not just chanting Hare Krishna, but we have to understand how they chant Hare Krishna and why they're chanting Hare Krishna.
Ce n'est pas simplement de chanter les noms du Seigneur, mais il faut comprendre pourquoi ils le font.
And where did they get the chanting from? Did they get the chanting from a devotee? If they got it from the devotee, then it's good.
D'où sortait-il ce chant du Saint-Nom? Est-ce que ça vient d'un dévot? Si vraiment, oui, ça vient d'un dévot, eh ben, c'est bien.
But if they got the chanting from some Mayavadi, then it's not good.
Par contre, s'ils tirent ce chant d'une pratique Mayavadi, ben, c'est pas aussi bien.
Just like we say milk, milk touched by the lips of a serpent will have a poisonous effect. Milk is a very good thing, very delicious and healthy, but if it's touched by a snake, by a serpent, and their lips touch the milk, then that milk becomes very poisonous, very deadly.
On dit que le lait qui a été touché par les lèvres du serpent est très empoisonné. Et donc, si le Saint-Nom a été touché par les lèvres d'un Mayavadi ou d'une personne impure, eh ben, c'est aussi très mauvais pour notre santé spirituelle.
So somebody's chanting Hare Krishna, but his motive is to become one with Krishna.
Donc, une personne va chanter Hare Krishna dans le seul but de devenir un avec Dieu.
And they're thinking Krishna is the Brahman and we are also Brahman. They're thinking they're one on an equal level with Krishna.
Ils pensent donc que Krishna, c'est le Brahman et j'aimerais devenir dans un pied d'égal avec le Brahman, Krishna.
So we're very cautious.
Nous faisons donc très attention avec ce genre de choses.
The devotees chanting Hare Krishna has a very different mood to it. You can feel the pure devotion in their kirtan and in their chanting.
Quand un dévot du Seigneur chante Hare Krishna, il a de la dévotion. Et ça se ressent dans les kirtans et dans le mantra du matin japa.
Yeah. See devotees sit and they sit every day and chant. And so they have they have very steady practice in the chanting of the holy name.
Les dévots s'asseyent tous les jours pour chanter beaucoup et donc ils ont une pratique très dévotionnelle.
They're not just chanting to make a show for others.
Ils ne chantent pas simplement pour faire un spectacle pour d'autres personnes.
Okay.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Guru
Simon,
Maharaj,
tu as une
you know,
question?
go
Sorry.
ahead, Prabhu.
The Simon has a question. Is he on? I think he's not here.
Here is a question. Guru Maharaj, just a clarification. Durvasa Muni attained perfection, so it means that he came to devotional service after that. Is it like that or?
No, but he's a great yogi.
Okay.
He's a great yogi.
Okay.
I think Sridevi Mataji has a question. She has her hand raised.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Sridevi
Guru
Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you for the opportunity. Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. My question is, Guru Maharaj, today at our Food for Life program, some devotees came to get prasadam. They were not involved in the Food for Life, but we know them as devotees. I normally see this very common, that when they are outside the temple, they don't seem to want to wear tilak. This disturbs me. I'm a bit judgmental. That's I've got a very big flaw that I feel very judgmental towards people. I know they are devotees, but they don't wear tilak. I feel very disturbed. I don't like it. I want everyone to wear tilak 24/7 all the time. So when I see them not wearing tilak, I get disturbed. Please help me, Guru Maharaj, how I must conduct myself, how I must conduct my mind, how I must behave, tell my own self, so that I don't become judgmental, so that I don't view them negatively because they are not wearing tilak and not looking like devotee. I feel I always have this problem. I want everyone to wear tilak all the time. Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
All right, so you do it yourself. You wear tilak all the time. You show the example. That will be very nice.
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
Teach by your example.
Can I translate that question?
Yeah.
Le commentaire question de la personne est que elle n'est pas vraiment contente quand elle voit des dévots qui ne portent pas le tilak hors du temple, la marque sur le front. Et donc la réponse c'est que elle-même, elle peut porter le tilak, et, elle peut pratiquer cette pratique.
You know, one thing you could do, you could keep a tilak box with you, and when they come, you can put tilak on for them.
Oh, that's nice.
Vous pouvez mettre le tilak sur ces personnes qui ne le portent pas. Vous pouvez avoir du tilak sur vous et leur en mettre sur eux avec plaisir.
Yeah, just tell them, oh, I see you forgot to put tilak on, or maybe you didn't have time this morning to put your tilak on, or maybe it came off already, maybe you had it on, it came off. Let me put some on for you.
On peut dire aux personnes qui n'ont pas de tilak à ce moment-là, peut-être votre tilak s'est enlevé tout seul durant la journée ou vous n'avez pas encore eu le temps aujourd'hui d'en mettre. Et voilà, j'en ai pour vous.
You know, often people put tilak on, they may put tilak on, but it does come off very easily, you know.
Le tilak peut s'enlever assez facilement. Même si on en a mis, ça peut s'enlever des fois vite.
So you keep a tilak box with you and you can put tilak on for them.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Okay. Yes, any other questions there? Simon has a question? No?
No, actually not.
Okay, so then we're going to chant Hare Krishna now. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Rama. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki.
Joy.
Bye.
Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki.
Haribol.
Thank you
Hare
very much.
Krishna.